Say a few words kind of about what it is that I think that MUN is important for and what I think we've tried to achieve here in terms of putting on the conference for you guys. So again, I'm Bharath, Ganesh, your Secretary General for this coming weekend. We have many days of exciting debate planned for you, and I want to extend my hand and those of my staff in order to assist you to make sure that any requests that you have are met. At our conference, we really emphasize collaboration with the staff as well as the other participants. So please feel free to approach any of the Undersecretary Generals who are up here, any of the Secretariat members, your chairs, and any of the staff members that you see, because we're all here to help you, and we're all here to make sure that you have an exciting and memorable conference. So they're always open at any time to answer your questions, to take and act upon your criticisms, or just chat. We have put in a tremendous amount of work and dedication into making this conference as exciting as we hope it will be. We have extremely intense and thrilling crisis committees coming up, as well as continuing our traditions in the specialized bodies with our more parliamentary GA types of committees, which have very well-researched, intelligent, and high-level chairs and vice chairs. So we're sure that you're going to have an excellent time in those. Our committees give participants a chance to understand what it is to step into the shoes of a policymaker, a military general if you're in a joint crisis, or a judge if you're on the ICJ. And frequently, as many of us who've been to conferences know, we're frequently asked to represent policies that we don't necessarily agree with. This is one of the central tasks that we have as MUN delegates. Our takeaway from conferences, though, is frequently one, of course, of exciting memories, along with frustrations and remembering the lack of cooperation that we've had in committee that Professor Zook had also touched on. There's always good and bad in a conference. And I think this is a central part of the experience because it teaches us in quite a realistic way the problems that the United Nations and its other similar bodies face. We can see the trouble that global governance faces clearly every single time we go to a conference. We completely experience all the problems of conflicting ideas working against each other, different philosophies working in contrast. So I think there's two elements of a conference that we need to keep in mind. The first is taking on another's role, and the other is experiencing barriers to cooperation. And I think these two issues have a lot to teach us in terms of our cosmopolitan future on Earth. By opening our minds to the ideas we research in order to write a position paper, we become a lot more empathetic to the views that we might disagree with. Through learning reasoning behind the policies that we find violent, unacceptable, or simply inequitable, we can better learn to address the concerns of the people who do hold those policies dear. We open our minds, and in the conference, we act out the very roles that we disagree with. This simple task importantly shows us another way of thinking, which challenges our own. It shows us that our convictions do not hold for every other person, that yes, we must proffer ideas when we feel it necessary, but we must also humbly accept criticism and be open and incorporative of disagreement, and interested in entering into dialogue and participating with others. My second point, barriers to cooperation, stem from the disagreement and frustration that is often ubiquitous at conferences. We can all recall at a conference a delegate unwilling to cooperate on a resolution because it was outside their policy. I implore all of you guys to think back to these kinds of events. And when you experience them at our conference, I want you to think about that in terms of how this is a form of disagreement and a problem with cooperation that even would be experienced by delegates in the United Nations in reality. The problems with cooperation that we're going to note this weekend correspond, in many different ways, of course, to many of the real problems encountered among nations in real policymaking. As MUN delegates, during our college education, we're able to supplement our degrees with an understanding of the real problems that face collective international action and global governance. While our experiences are not necessarily real per se, we do get a great understanding of the obstacles to collaboration and the problems on the international scale. We arm ourselves at MUN with two skills. One is the ability to immerse oneself in another way of thinking. The second is the knowledge of the frustrations faced by those looking to cooperate across borders. We learn empathy for those we disagree with, and we learn to deal with situations that obstruct cooperation. The impetus is on us, not just as delegates, but also as citizens, to combine these skills into an approach to our work outside the conference. Our increasingly interconnected world demands that we are able to place ourselves in the shoes of others and cooperate with those we never thought possible to cooperate with. Popular revolutions in the Middle East, for example, illustrate how important it is for us that our existing paradigms of foreign policy get reworked. We need to stop thinking solely about the West's interests. We need to seriously consider the politics of our so-called enemies, and we need to begin to truly understand the importance and beauty of differences in philosophy, religion, and politics present on Earth. In MUN, we are equipped to do this very thing. We are building skills for a cosmopolitan global future. We are capable of empathizing with difference and aware of the challenges presented in order to move forward to a more peaceful world. These conferences serve as an excellent escape for midterms, I know. But more importantly, they teach us the lessons which we should never forget to apply. Here we are learning skills for what I think is a new paradigm. It is up to us, yes, to actively disagree and debate one another while appreciating our competitors' efforts. We develop here a genuine consciousness of difference by stepping into someone else's shoes and a genuine understanding of the obstacles of that competing political philosophies present to cooperation and peace. So this weekend, I hope that we all keep in mind, as we go through our committees and debate, the paramount importance of our greatest resource, which is that of learning from each other. And I also hope that we develop the skills at this conference that will eventually lead to helping the world upon a more cosmopolitan, peaceful, and accepted trajectory. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Annika Patil now, and he's going to explain a few logistical things for tonight.